Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, February 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine today. A whole lot warmer than it has been. High's going to be 31. Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 21. And then Tuesday, sun and clouds, high 36. If you're walking out the door with us right now, it's 10 and clear in Hempstead out on Long Island. It's 6 and clear in Blairstown over in New Jersey. And it's 7 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
It was a super night for the Seahawks. Still no sign of Savannah's mom. The search is on for someone who killed a dad in a Bronx hit and run. Archbishop Hicks holds his first Sunday Mass. NYU has a sports team that's the talk of the town. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. What a boring Super Bowl. Oh, my God, I can't believe I stayed up to watch the thing last night. Did you stay up? Well, maybe you were smart. You went to bed at some point. The Seahawks won Super Bowl 60. The game didn't change much if you stayed up for the first half. Seattle dominated the Patriots 29-13. Seahawks defense, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions. Running back Kenneth Walker ran for 135 yards, was named the MVP.
We worked at it all week, last week, this week, and we worked on a run game, and we knew that was going to make an impact on this game, and, I give all the credit to those guys.
Yeah, Walker saying now he's living a fantasy that he had ever since he was a kid.
Nah, if I would tell myself as a kid right now, I would have, I wouldn't have guessed that I would be the one winning MVP. So this is a real moment, and it doesn't happen without the guys in the locker room. You never want to see your brother get hurt, but I know I was going to have to pick up the slack, and, I just wanted to make a positive impact on my team in whatever way possible.
Yeah, he was playing because the Seahawks had some injuries during the season in the streets of Seattle. Of course, just total chaos. I mean, good kind of chaos, so we didn't hear of anything terrible going on.
Cheering.
We earned this and deserve this, baby. 206, baby. Let's go. Come on. Seahawks. Seahawks. Dark side, baby.
Okay, that's what it sounded like. All right, what'd you think of Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny making history, first ever all-Spanish halftime show performance. Had a couple superstars join in. I don't know if you spotted everybody. Cardi B, when he fell through the house and during Cardi B was there. Karol G, Jessica Alba was among some of the dancers. Lady Gaga sang the wedding song. That couple, if you were watching, that looked like they were getting married. That was a real marriage, apparently. And then at the end, he used his historic Grammy win. He won Album of the Year, and then he handed the actual Grammy to a kid. And then, Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin was part of it as well. So, and then, of course, it's the aftermath. There's been this argument for years that the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday, but it's not. So lots of people will just take it as a holiday.
It's called the Super Bowl flu. It's not contagious, and its symptoms resemble a hangover. And it's responsible for a loss of over $5 billion in productivity, due to illness. And it happens every year despite multiple petitions to the NFL to move the Super Bowl from Sunday to Saturday or push the game to President's Day weekend when most already have the Monday off. But year after year, the Players Association keeps saying, no. I'm Bree Tennis.
It doesn't matter to me selfishly because I wouldn't have the next day off anyway. All right, more coming up about this big game that I have not gotten into. Coming up 5:15, of course, with Justin Ellick. 5:03, 2 men found dead yesterday. Separate subway trains. One, a 23-year-old found dead on a 7 train near Grand Central Terminal. Later, a man believed to be in his 50s found on a train at the 36th Street station in Brooklyn. Now, it's not clear they died from the cold. The medical examiner will have to make that determination, but it's exactly what the mayor was worried about over the weekend because it was so damn cold.
We as New Yorkers believe that we can brave any set of conditions. What we are talking about, however, is weather that can be fatal if you are subjected to it for a longer period of time. And we're looking to use every single tool we have to ensure that we can keep New Yorkers indoors and warm. Now,
Mayor Mamdani was warning New Yorkers all along to call 311 if you saw somebody out in the elements. That even includes this morning, even though we'll reach 31. Right now, it's in the single digits across the city, across the tri-state.
We must all do our part to ensure that we keep everyone safe over the next few days to come. If you see someone in need, please call 311 immediately so our outreach workers and first responders at FDNY and NYPD can provide assistance.
Yeah, he was repeating that message all weekend long. Now, in the cases of these 2 people that were found dead on the subways yesterday, no signs of trauma in either case, so the medical examiner will have to determine their causes of death. Now, imagine going through this weekend with no heat. Con Ed still trying to restore electricity to customers in Brooklyn after a mixture of snow and salt seeped underground, knocked out power to hundreds in Bushwick. It was similar to what happened to those customers in Borum Hill and Park Slope last week, except this weekend it was colder than last weekend.
I've been cold all night long. I kept seeing things flicker. I said, what's going on now?
Yeah, so we were watching on all weekend as Con Ed was working around the clock to restore power. It started sometime on Saturday. The problem, the utility company says, is the salt on the roads continues to mix with melting snow, and then it seeps into these underground, and essentially eats away at the electrical system. That's what happened in Borum Hill and Park Slope last week. This week, it was, in Bushwick. So neighbors there had to do without, and they opened up a warming center at a nearby elementary school.
Horrible. They charge us a fortune to pay our bills. We got a $1,000 light bill. My mom got a $1,500 light bill. It's unacceptable.
Yeah. So again, as of this morning, we're still seeing hundreds of people in Bushwick, which probably means thousands because it says hundreds of units, but maybe thousands of people still don't have power. A lot of those people did take advantage of some warming buses that were brought in. They went to this nearby school.
All the food we got probably is going to go bad. We don't know how long. These guys been out here since 9 o'clock last night.
My wheels are turning. I'm a family guy, and I want to look after my family. So I'm thinking going upstate and starting a fire somewhere.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Maybe you had this in your house this weekend. I woke up to the kitchen sink. The water wasn't working. The pipes were frozen. And thank God for ChatGPT, because I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. And it told me to just take out a hair dryer and blow it on the pipes for 10, 15 minutes. And sure enough, that worked. And the water was flowing now. Whether we'll have to do it again today because it was so cold overnight, we'll have to see. Hopefully, no problems at your homes. WABC News Time 509. I thought there might be a break in the Savannah Guthrie search for Savannah Guthrie's mom over the weekend. You had President Trump on Air Force One talking about it, and he had told reporters he thought the investigators were doing very well in terms of figuring out what was going on here. Of course, Savannah, if you haven't been following, you're under a rock somewhere. Savannah Guthrie's mom disappeared now 8 days ago from her Tucson, Arizona home.
We have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
The Pima County Sheriff said it was aware of a new ransom message in the case. The FBI confirmed that investigators were actively inspecting the information in the message for its authenticity. Here was more from the president over the weekend.
We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be suspect. Yeah, it could be definitive.
Now, a short time after the president spoke, then you had Savannah Guthrie herself, her second video asking for the return of her missing mother. In it, it's short. She says, we will pay, and we received your message, and we understand.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So this is after the FBI and Arizona authorities announced they were investigating the new message regarding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Okay, so in that message, it was a video message. It was Savannah Guthrie, her brother, and her sister. Later, after that message was released, police were spotted leaving Savannah Guthrie's sister's home, Anna Guthrie's home, in Tucson. They were wearing gloves, carrying brown bags. This was on Saturday. Photo flashes went off several times through the shaded windows of Annie Guthrie and her husband, Tomas, during this late-night search. This is according to a reporter from News Nation who was on the scene. After nearly 3 hours, authorities walked out of that home wearing blue gloves, and carrying brown bags. This was after that message was dropped on Instagram, where they said that they would pay. Now, one rumor was that they were willing to pay up to $7 million. None of this is confirmed, but the Pima County Sheriff shared Sunday that they would maintain a presence at the 84-year-old's Tucson, Arizona home as they continued to search for her. They didn't comment at all about the search that went on in Savannah Guthrie's sister home, Annie, over the weekend. And maybe there's something to that story. Of course, it makes you think, well, what's going on, that they're in that house for 3 hours, but police not commenting on any of this as they continue to search for Savannah's mom, who's been missing now for 8 days. WABC News Time 512. Ukrainian President Zelensky says the U.S. wants a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia by the early summer. We'll get more from Scott Carr.
Zelensky's comment comes in a statement issued Saturday by his office. He says Washington has proposed that delegations from both countries meet in the U.S. sometime next week and that Ukraine will take part. Zelensky's remarks followed another large-scale Russian attack overnight on Ukraine's power grid by hundreds of drones and missiles. I'm Scott Carr.
WABC News Time 513. Lots of stuff on the news shows over the weekend. Hudson Valley Republican Congressman Mike Lawler condemning President Trump's Truth Social post that depicted Barack and Michelle Obama as apes. He was on ABC's this week. The New York congressman said the president should apologize.
I think sometimes it's just best to say, I'm sorry, and do better. And I think, given the situation, I'm glad they deleted it.
The Hudson Valley congressman says that he's taking the White House at its word, that the video was a mistake by a staffer.
That type of content should not exist in our country. I think everybody should recognize the history and really do better.
President Trump later deleted the video, said he did not see the part containing the racist clip. The Obamas, they did not respond directly to that video. While we're talking about the news shows, you had Senator Adam Schiff taking aim at the president's recent push to nationalize elections. He was on ABC this week. The California Democrat says the president is doing anything he can. This is Adam Schiff saying to suppress the vote.
If he loses the vote, and I think the Republicans now expect they'll get a real drubbing in the midterms, he's prepared to try to take some kind of action to overturn the result. And we really shouldn't question that.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries jumping on this, says the president's trying to nationalize elections, and he said that will be stopped by members of Congress.
This is going to be a free and fair election. It's going to be conducted like every other election, where states and localities have the ability to administer the laws.
WABC News Time 514. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. He's urging Americans now to get vaccinated for the measles.
Dr. Oz made the plea during an appearance on CNN's State of the Union, saying that not all illnesses are equally dangerous and not all people are equally susceptible to those illnesses. But measles is one you should get your vaccine. It comes as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed over 700 measles cases in the U.S. so far this year. Nearly 30% of those cases were found in children under the age of 5. I'm Mark Mayfield.
In a moment, we'll head out to Colorado, where a creepy funeral home director was sentenced to 40 years behind bars. We'll tell you why coming up. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. I would say it's Happy Monday, but there's no coffee. So
yeah,
I'll just say good morning, Justin Ellen.
Hey, good morning. What time is it? What day is it?
Yeah.
Jesus, my God. Anyway, we'll start here last night. And excuse my lack of excitement. It is the no coffee, and also this game just wasn't very good last night.
Yeah, it was boring.
Santa Clara. Seahawks defense smothered Drake May and the Patriots, leading Seattle to a 29-13 win to capture the franchise's second Super Bowl title. The Seahawks defense front came at May in waves, cutting off any chance the Patriots had to get in a rhythm and making the game go the way it wanted to go. Patriots were ill-equipped, it seemed, to combat Seattle's strength, and the Seahawks played as if they did know that. 8 of the Patriots' first 9 possessions ended with a punt, and the other concluded with a kneel down to close the first half. When the third quarter finished, the Patriots had 78 yards on total offense and as many first downs, 5, as the Seahawks had sacks. Sam Darnold and the Seattle offense struggled yesterday as well against the New England defense, but Darnold eventually managed to beat the Patriots blitz with a fourth quarter touchdown pass to A.J. Barner that increased Seattle's lead to 19-0 at the time. It was the first touchdown of the game. And, the Seahawks, they get their second Super Bowl victory in franchise history, and that wraps up your 2025 to 2026 NFL season. Pretty good year, huh, Noam?
It was, except if you were a Giants or a Jets fan.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Eagles, for that matter.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Everybody else.
What'd you think of Bad Bunny? Did you watch?
Yeah, I was kind of forced to watch. I live in this tiny little studio apartment. I don't have, a lot of places to go to avoid that kind of to halftime show. But, it was on in the background. A lot of cornfields and stuff.
Yeah. Sugarcane, I think it was.
Oh, was it sugarcane?
Yeah.
Okay. It had to have been tough for the actual audience at the stadium to see what the heck was going on in that whole mess.
I didn't think about that, but you're probably right. Well, I guess they had it on the big screens.
Yeah, right, exactly. And those halftime shows are more for the at-home audience, I feel like, right? Exactly. That was your Super Bowl 60. How about it? In Boston, on the hardwood, Jalen Brunson scored 31 points. Josh Hart added 19. The Knicks beat the cold-shooting Boston Celtics 111-89. Up next for the Knicks, they'll host Indiana tomorrow night. Tonight, the Nets, they're back at it. They'll welcome in the Chicago Bulls. That's a 7:30 p.m. tip-off there. Head to the Olympics. Rough weekend for Lindsey Vonn. Her defiant bid to win the Winter Olympic downhill at the age of 41 on a rebuilt right knee and a badly injured left knee ended yesterday in a frightening crash that left her with a broken leg and saw her taken to safety by a rescue helicopter for the second time in 9 days. She lost control within seconds of leaving the start house, clipping a gate with her right shoulder and pinwheeling down the slope before ending up awkwardly on her back. Her skis crisscrossed below her, and her screams, they were ringing out soon after medical personnel arrived. I saw the replay of this. I didn't see it live. It happened very early yesterday morning, but she went flying. Yeah. Man. I don't know if you saw this, Noam Layden, but
I did. It was crazy.
Big tumble for Lindsey Vonn, and just hoping she is all right. She got transferred yesterday to a larger hospital in Treviso, where she underwent an orthopedic operation to stabilize a fracture reported in her left leg. So obviously, she is done for the Winter Olympics and probably forever. Get well, Lindsey Vonn. That is your Sports Noah, man. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:20. It is a 40-year prison sentence on state charges for a disgraced co-owner of a Colorado funeral home at the center of a scandal. John Halford received a lengthy prison sentence after accepting a deal to plead guilty to nearly 200 counts of corpse abuse. Kelly Schlosser's mother's body was one of those abused. She spoke about her pain after hearing the sentence that John would get.
This man took her body and discarded her in that building. The same building that was so toxic, it had to be bulldozed down, and remained was so contaminated, it had to be transported to a special landfill.
Listen to what this guy was doing. The Halford stored bodies that they were supposed to be burying in a building in a small town of Penrose, south of Colorado, from 2019 until 2023, when investigators responded to reports of a stench coming from that building. And then when they walked in, they could not believe what they found. Stacks of bodies on top of each other, swarms of bugs covering all over the place, including adults, infants, fetuses. They were all stored at room temperature. The bodies identified over months. They had to use fingerprints, DNA, and other methods. So the families of the loved ones who had thought that their loved ones had been buried or otherwise say that they were just outraged. Of course they were.
This wasn't just a random act. This was a very well thought out and deliberate scheme to steal from unsuspecting innocent people when they are grieving and more vulnerable than any other time in their lives.
Yeah, investigators believe the Halfords, who own this funeral home, were giving families dry concrete that resembled ashes, but that's all it was dry concrete.
This is not ordinary harm, and I've done a lot of reflection and mostly taken my lead from what I've heard in this room as to what people have suffered.
Yeah, okay, so that was the judge. And we did hear from this creepy funeral homeowner.
I'm sorry for my role in everything. I have heard every single word all of you have said. Your words sit heavy with me and will remain with me.
Yeah, well, it will, because you'll be behind bars of what likely will be for the rest of your life. 5:23. We're getting more information about these arrests that were made in Benghazi on Friday. The FBI said it has arrested one of the alleged leaders in the 2012 attack on the U.S. government facilities in Benghazi. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Kash Patel made the announcement on Friday.
We will prosecute this alleged terrorist to the fullest extent of the law.
So here's what we had learned. The suspect was captured and extradited to face charges here in the U.S. The terror attack that took place September 11th, 2012, killed 4 Americans. 2 Libyan nationals involved in the attack were previously convicted back in 2019.
We have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation.
To any others out there who wish to do harm, especially commit acts of terrorism here and around the world, this is the feat you will meet. You will not be forgotten by us. Yeah, we will chase you down.
Justice Department has said they never forgot the 2012 terror attack on the government facilities in Benghazi. Let's bring it back home. Let's go down to Washington. Ghislaine Maxwell plans to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination during her deposition before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. This is what her attorney told News Nation.
Maxwell, the former girlfriend and longtime associate of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is serving a 20-year federal sentence for her role in recruiting and trafficking victims for Epstein. She has completed less than 4 years of that term. Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, who previously had suggested the panel was unlikely to meet with Maxwell as part of its inquiry into the Epstein case, confirmed last month that her deposition would go forward. I'm Mark Mayfield.
You would think I wouldn't be shocked anymore by people who are connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but this one surprised me. The Dalai Lama says he never met or had any dealings with the late sex offender.
The Tibetan Spiritual Leaders Office noted over the weekend that some reports and social media posts have been trying to link the Dalai Lama to the so-called Epstein files released by the Justice Department. A news release went on to say, "We can unequivocally confirm that His Holiness has never met Jeffrey Epstein or authorized any meeting or interaction with him by anyone on His Holiness's behalf." The Dalai Lama is mentioned in the files, but seemingly only in some documents referencing his work. I'm Mark Mayfield.
WABC News Time 525. Let's go out to Los Angeles, where was a celebrity sighting of sorts there. A celebrity with a lot of fur and a tail.
Many come to Los Angeles seeking fame and fortune. Probably not the motives of a wolf who arrived in the county this weekend, but officials say it's the first known wolf in the area in at least a century. The 3-year-old female, who has a GPS collar, made the trek from Kern County. She's likely looking for a mate. Wolves are rare in California. There's apparently only around 60 of them. I'm Jason Nathanson.
WABC News Time 526.
Let's not forget, I'm your boss. You work for me.
We're not in the office anymore, Bradley.
Send Help is the weekend's box office winner. The film pulled in $10 million in its second week on the big screen. The horror thriller stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien as colleagues stranded on a desert island. Angel's studio romantic comedy Solo Mio, that took second place in its opening week with over $7 million. And the indie film Iron Lung followed in the box office lineup, drawing in about $6 million for the weekend.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, February 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine today. Is going to feel awfully warm after this weekend. The high will be 31. Tonight, Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 21. Even warmer for Tuesday, sun and clouds, high 36. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, it's 10 and clear in Hempstead out on Long Island. It's 6 and clear in Blairstown over in New Jersey. And it's 7 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 540, hearing Joe talk about all those pipes bursting. A friend of mine owns a pretty large plumbing business. He was turning away calls all weekend. They couldn't take them all in because when it gets that low, the temperature gets that low. It's so rare that it gets into the single digits like it did this weekend around here anyway. Pipes were bursting everywhere and apparently overnight as well. The weekend was the coldest of the season, maybe the coldest that we've seen in years. I can't remember. Do you remember a time where it was 4 degrees? I went to walk the dog yesterday. It was 2 degrees, and I was like, I just want to see what it's like when it's 2 degrees outside. The real feel was like minus 12 or something. And after about 3 minutes, the dog looked at me and was like, no, we're going back home. We have 2 more deaths to report over the weekend. Now, it's not 100% it's due to the cold, but 2 people were found dead on the subways this weekend. And Mayor Mamdani, he was out all weekend trying to make sure everyone who was outside was brought in from the frigid weather.
What we're doing at this time is doubling down on all of our efforts to connect any New Yorker who's outside with shelter, with warmth, and with safety. This weather, frankly, is dangerous, and the consequences of being outside could be fatal.
And that's true this morning, where we're still in the single digits. The mayor expanded the shelter program over the weekend, warming facilities. There were 10 school-based warming centers across the city. They had warming buses, 27 of them out from Friday to Saturday and then into today. Actually, it was 33 by this morning. They increased the amount, and they increased the amount of outreach workers that were out on city streets trying to convince people who were out in the elements to come inside. They had school nurses deployed to help with this process as well. And then you had people who just were out, I mean, the streets were deserted every time I went out yesterday, but there were people out in Central Park who kind of love this thing.
I like the cold. I'd rather be doing this than be out in the humidity in August.
Oh my God, I have so many layers on. I feel like a sausage. I have, I think, 5 or 6 layers under here. I can't even zip the jacket.
I feel warm now, to be honest. I feel good.
Okay, and then there was this power outage and continues to be in Brooklyn at the worst possible time, impacting, well, now this morning it's probably hundreds of customers during the coldest weather of the year. Con Ed working around the clock to restore the electricity in Bushwick. The power's been out since 11 p.m. Saturday night amid this extreme cold. Con Ed said it shut power off temporarily to prevent one of extended outages. So some people were taking the hit so the rest of us could have heat.
This is the first time I experienced this, and it was ridiculous. With my kids also, they were scared, and we couldn't see anything.
Unfortunately, I have no electricity or heat right now, so it says it's about 40 degrees in my apartment since last night.
Yeah, Con Ed outreach van was in that neighborhood to help people find their way to warmth and give them updates about when they might get the electricity. But I'm looking this morning on the outage map, and still a lot of people do not have power. Mayor Mamdani was visiting some of these warming shelters into last night.
It is one of the coldest days that New York City has seen in a long, long time. It's actually colder today in New York City than in parts of Antarctica.
Now, according to the Coalition for the Homeless, that number of people who have died amid the elements is 17. But again, we just told you about those 2 who were on a subway that were found dead. The medical examiner will determine how they died. 544 up to the Bronx, where police say a father of 3 was killed in a hit and run early yesterday at a NYCHA building parking lot. This was in Melrose. Police responded to a call of an accident on Westchester Avenue. This was about 2:24 in the morning. It ended up being Marcus McLaughlin. And here neighbors say he's a father, and they don't know exactly who had hit him and then drive off.
He told his kids last night, go to bed, call me in the morning when y'all wake up, and then to wake up and not be able to speak to your father, that's mad devastating.
Yeah, so police urging anybody who knows anything about what might have happened to give them a holler.
It is a huge loss to this community, a huge loss. Whoever you are, Turn yourself in, man. That's all I'm saying. Turn yourself in. You did bad.
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere, so police hoping they can go through that video and try to figure out the car and then capture this person who drove off without rendering aid to McLaughlin. In a moment, we'll visit with Archbishop Ronald Hicks, who held his first Sunday Mass as Archbishop yesterday. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, where we now find a caffeinated Justin Ellick.
How about that? No, Malay.
Wow, look at that. You sound much better than you did at 5:15.
We are up and at 'em.
Yeah.
How about that? Let's wake up here Monday morning. Super Bowl 60 out in Santa Clara. Seahawks defense smothered Drake May and the New England Patriots, leading Seattle to a 29-13 win to capture the franchise's second Super Bowl title. Seahawks defensive front came in May in waves, cutting off any chance the Patriots had to get in a rhythm and making the game go the way it wanted to go. The Patriots were ill-equipped to combat Seattle's strength, and the Seahawks played as if they did know that. 8 of the Patriots' first 9 possessions ended with a punt, and the other concluded with a kneel down to close the first half. And when the third quarter finished, Patriots had 78 yards of total offense and as many first downs, 5. And as the Seahawks had sacks, Sam Darnold and the Seattle offense struggled yesterday as well against a New England defense, but Darnold eventually managed to beat the Patriots blitz with the fourth quarter touchdown pass to A.J. Barner that increased Seattle's lead to 19-0 at the time, and they do secure that Super Bowl title, second in franchise history. Congrats go out to the Seattle Seahawks.
Was that the most boring of all Super Bowls? I was trying to
decide. It's got to be up there, yeah. It's got to be up there. I was not entertained, I got to tell you that much. And then there's something we said about a defensive game, and that's football, and that's all great and good and well. But
4 field goals in the first half, right? Is that right?
Yeah, 4 field goals and no turnovers, right? Unless I'm missing something, but there was no turnovers last night. So, in a great defensive battle, you would like to see a couple of, strip sacks, fumbles,
I think there was one turnover, didn't they?
Was there one turnover?
Yeah,
maybe you're right. I think Seattle recovered that fumble. Exactly. But still, it lacked something. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it just lacked that Super Bowl energy. It just felt like a Week 9 game that they were playing in like Berlin, like one of those like travel games where you have all the festivities and all of that good stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just a regular football game, and that's what we got last night. But yeah, it's good for the Seahawks' second title in franchise history. Out in Boston, Jalen Brunson scored 31. Josh Hart added 19. The Knicks beat the cold shooting Boston Celtics 111-89. Up next for them, they'll host Indiana tomorrow night. Nets, they're back at it tonight, welcoming in the Chicago Bulls. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
I'm Joe Nolan with traffic on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Hey Joe, did you watch Bad Bunny last night?
Yeah, exactly what you guys were talking about. I didn't think of that thing what Justin said though about the people in the building probably couldn't see what was going on because of all the palm trees and the sugar cane and all that. But
right,
it is what it is. The game was terrible. The whole thing was terrible, beginning to end.
It was fun to see all them when they rolled out all the great football players of the past.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, Lynn Swann. That was kind of cool to see Lynn Swann. Archbishop Ronald Hicks presided over his first Mass yesterday as the newly installed head of the Archdiocese of New York. It began with a ceremony on Friday, took over from Dolan. He received a warm welcome from the faithful in the pews at St. Patrick's Cathedral, opened his initial service by making the sign of the cross, using a Spanish prayer.
En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Peace be with you. I'm walking on a cloud. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so during his homily, he described his vision of having the Archdiocese of New York be a church on a mission to serve others.
A church that really helps people who have been away, people who might be attracted to the church to know God.
Now, people came from all over to see the new Archbishop. Now, because the installation Mass, that one on Friday, it was ticketed, so a lot of the regular folk couldn't get in to see the new Archbishop up close. So they used yesterday's Mass as a chance to finally see him in person. And because it was so cold, it was still packed there yesterday, but because it was so cold, it was a little easier getting a seat than it would have been a normal day.
I said, let me make the trek. I know it's super cold today, and luckily I got to see him, and I got a pretty good seat, too.
Yeah, so Catholics who were in attendance yesterday from across the tri-state, especially those who speak Spanish, say they're excited about the new archbishop who's fluent in Spanish after years of work as a missionary in El Salvador.
Even though it's less than 10 degrees, you can feel the heat and you can feel the warmth in your heart.
We're very lucky to be there.
Yeah, and after the Mass was over, the new Archbishop, Ronald Hicks, told CBS about his goal for the rest of the day on Sunday, and it was kind of like everybody else's goal.
I'm trying a pizza today. I might even try a couple of them. Today's Super Bowl Sunday. I have to eat pizza.
Yeah, so he was going to do what the rest of us were do, sit down and watch football last night. There is a new law in New York State that allows the terminally ill with less than 6 months to live to end their lives with medical assistance.
The Medical Aid in Dying Act, signed into law by Governor Kathy Hochul on February 6th, is an amended version of the bill. The amendments include a mandatory waiting period of 5 days between when a prescription is written and filled, a mental health evaluation of the dying patient by a psychologist or psychiatrist, and a video or audio recording of the patient asking for medical help to die peacefully. The law goes into effect in 6 months to allow time for the state health department to implement regulations and properly train staff at healthcare facilities. I'm Lisa Salvati.
A lot of religious organizations, including the Catholic Church, have tried to push back against this law, but it is now, in 6 months from now anyway, it will be a law in New York State. 5:54, a Hudson Valley man will avoid jail time after pleading guilty to reduced charges for threatening House Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
35-year-old Christopher Moynihan of Dutchess County, arrested in October for threatening the Brooklyn Democrat, accepted a plea deal that reduced the charges from a felony to a misdemeanor. He'll be sentenced to 3 years probation on April 2nd. The Albany Times-Union reports Moynihan was one of at least a dozen Hudson Valley residents who were charged in the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill and later pardoned by President Trump. I'm Larry Kofsky.
Let's head over
NBC News Radio.
Sorry, Larry. Let's head over to New Jersey. Parents in Elizabeth there expressing concern about a policy that allows ICE agents in public schools. Parents looking for some clear guidance and protocols from the district on that matter.
What will happen if ICE does come to the school? Other schools have already put theirs out. We've requested it on many, many occasions, in writing, in person.
Now, the Board of Ed tells us there has not been any ICE-related activity within their school district. Parents say school officials informed them, though, that ICE could enter schools, but agents don't have access to students. New Jersey Transit holding a statewide art competition in recognition of America's 250th anniversary.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
High school students can enter the competition through their school's history and art departments. The deadline, March 22nd. Winning designs will be used for bus graphics, celebrating America's birthday while highlighting New Jersey's contributions to the nation's history. 2 winning designs, one from North Jersey and one from South Jersey, will be selected. I guess NJ Transit doesn't believe in the existence of Central Jersey. James Flippin, 477 WABC News.
And NYU now stands alone atop the NCAA Division III women's basketball record book. They have 82 consecutive wins. The Violets beat Carnegie Mellon yesterday to break a tie with Washington University of St. Louis. They won 81 games in a row back in 2000, from 1998 to 2001. NYU's coach is Meg Barber, and she knows firsthand about the record her team broke, having been a player at NYU when the team's rival was racking up victories. And she says it's thrilling to have this record. Now, it's a Division III record.
I wouldn't say that it was even our goal last year to go undefeated. I think you learn so much from a loss. So there's not a fear of losing. I think there's a hatred of losing.
Can you imagine winning 82 wins in a row? It's really incredible. I mean, UConn, Division I women's team, they hold the overall record, 111 game winning streak. So they went on a 90-game run for a while, but for NYU, this is huge. And NYU says they do recruit some of the best players in the country to play Division III, and that's part of the reason why they're so good.
The secret sauce is, and a lot of coaches would say this, we have some of the best players in the country all all on our team.
On the court and off the court have this sort of chemistry and this sort of New York grit, even though not all of us are from New York. And that really propels us forward.
Yeah, amazing. 82 in a row. So now with that record in hand, the Violets are focused on trying to win a 5th straight UAA conference title and then a 3rd consecutive national championship. 557, traffic, transit on the 7s. Here's Joe Nolan.
Division 3 stuff. It's a lot of fun. My son played D3 lacrosse, and it's a lot of fun. It's really good athletics, and the guys are just basically smaller, than the D1 guys. But it's great fun.
And you're playing for the love of the sport, because I guess Division 1 you get scholarship, money. Right? But Division 3 you don't. That's the difference.
Yeah, you don't get anything in Division 3.
Yeah, so these are guys just playing for the game.
Well, they find ways, but they're not supposed to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, anyway, I shouldn't have said that, probably.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now, is a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks, and if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.